welcome to my latest edition of my 10-minute moans, and this one is about the biggest porky pie I've ever seen coming out of, heard coming out of HUMZA's mouth, and it's not even come out yet. This is bizarre. This is one of the maddest things I've ever heard. Now, what this is about, HUMZA is apparently going to make a speech. Now, this is Sunday night, I'm recording this, I'll put it out Monday morning, and HUMZA is going to be making a speech tomorrow night, which will be Monday night, tonight if you're watching this on Monday, in which he's going to claim that the prize of independence is £10,000 per household in Scotland. And once we get independence, all these inadequacies that the Scottish Government cannot sort out the now will miraculously disappear, and every household in Scotland will be £10,000 better off per year than they are under the United Kingdom government. Now, there's a few things that are absolutely mental about this, right? This is just, I've heard some absolute bollocks from SNP, their cybernats, and their cult over the last few years. We've probably all heard them since 2012 when the sort of 2-year run up to the referendum started. So we're, what, 13 years into listening to this nonsense. This is right up there. If this isn't the best ever, it's got to be damn close, right? So what he's suggesting is our economy just now is about £1 billion a year, right? Sorry, £100 billion per year. And it's probably fair to say that our Scottish Parliament have probably got somewhere between 70 and 80% of the powers that they would have if tomorrow we were independent. Because they've got more powers than any of the assemblies that are, you know, the Welsh Assembly and the Northern Ireland Assembly when they're opened. We have more powers than them. So we've probably got about 70-80% of the powers we would have if we got independence. And we're probably got an income for the government of somewhere about £100 billion just now, right? Now, there's 2.55 million households in Scotland. Checked it. Go and check it if you don't believe me. If we were to make every one of them £10,000 better off per annum, that's £25.5 billion. It's a lot of zeros that HUMZA and these cybernats are going to miraculously make appear if we get an extra 20 or 30% of the powers that we've got just now. Okay? What they're basing it on, no idea. Just as well just going, oh, there's a figure there. Is that high enough? No, double it, right? So we've already got approximately £1.5 billion of a black hole. That's the difference between the money Scotland generates and the money Scotland spends, but £1.5 billion of a difference. We're going to find another £25.5 billion. I'm guessing we're not going to have a deficit in his fairy story. So that would mean that HUMZA YOUSAF genuinely thinks that the Scottish Government could find £27 billion as soon as we come, well, not maybe soon, but within a short time we'll be becoming independent. Now, this is just throw a figure out there and don't put anything behind it. Well, I put something behind it. You need to find £27 billion to get your fairy story to actually add up. Where are you going to find that? You're going to find it up the arse of a fucking rainbow fucking haired unicorn, because you'd be as well telling us that, because there's nothing that you could tell us that would make it sound more realistic than up the arse of a rainbow haired unicorn, right? That's how mad you are. You're absolutely mental. But the maddest thing is, right, see the night now, right, we've got a general election going to happen in the next 6 or 9 months down in Westminster, and we've already seen with the video I put out yesterday about Tommy Sheppard. They're already running scared of these shysters losing their seats in Westminster, that they're just going to tell us any shite between now and that election. The next thing is, after that, is we'll have another Scottish election about 18 months or something away for that, maybe 2 years. It's just going to intensify, because barring a miraculous set of events, I think it's safe to predict they'll lose a fair amount of seats at the Westminster election if it was to happen today. And if that happens, they're going to go, oh no, all these folk like Tommy Shepherd and all these crackpots are all lost their jobs and other cushy numbers that they've had for a decade. And then the ones in Westminster are going to think, are we next? And they will go into, it'll get worse. It will get absolutely worse. And you've got folk out there who are so emotionally in bed with the notion of independence that reality doesn't actually come into it for them. They are so engrossed and invested mentally, in achieving independence that they'll buy this shite. And you'll be hearing this for about the next 2 years about, oh, we'll be £10,000 a household better off. Based on what? Unicorn hunters finding one with an awful big bumhole? Because it ain't happening. But watch what happens next. That's exactly what you're going to see. Now, how this story hit the papers on Sunday, this is just bonkers as well. Because what they're telling us is, this is a script that he's got for a speech that he's going to make Monday night. Now, if the newspapers printed that story and had them online on Sunday morning, and some people are suggesting there was an embargo for Sunday morning, that means that they've got to have given the newspapers the story on Saturday night. Now, nobody's leaked them. This has been a proper press release by the Scottish National Party to the newspapers, probably Saturday night. Can't have been any later. Could have been Friday. I don't know. But I tell you one thing, it's got to them before Saturday, end of business Saturday night. Because they managed to get all the stories written up and ready for the embargo to release them on the Sunday. So that's at least Saturday they've given them. Potentially even Friday. I don't know. But let's just say it's Saturday. It's a worst case scenario. For a thing that's not happening to Monday. Now, if this was a normal speech that he was making at an event, he would go to the event on Monday night, he would say what he's got to say, and his wee press officers would be running about like lackeys, trying to get the mainstream media to print this wonderful story that HUMZA and these mobs dreamt up. And it would be in the papers Tuesday. This was in the paper Sunday for something that's not happened yet. It's going to happen Monday night. So what's going on? Is there something coming out on Monday that they need this to be loaded now? I don't actually understand their PR strategy on this one, and I'm by no means a PR strategist expert. I'm just a guy that, 10 years ago found himself in a situation for 2 or 3 years where I was in a campaign that I was involved with, and I had to do a lot of things with the press, and I found out how these things work, right? So it's limited experience I'm talking about here. But it's bonkers to think, isn't it, that they've obviously planted this story Saturday night at the latest, could have been Friday for all I know, for something on Monday. They are desperate for this to get out. That shows the signs of desperation. If it was a normal time and there wasn't an election coming up and they weren't shiting themselves about losing seats and whatever, what would have happened is he'd have went and done his thing on Monday, some press would have get tipped off, look, we're having this big thing and he's going to give you some great headlines for tomorrow to write up the stories for Tuesday. So they're desperate. Either that or somebody's getting arrested tomorrow and they're just trying to get the story in, because if something like that happened again, and I'm not telling you like I've got any news that I've not put out yet that somebody's getting arrested tomorrow, but let's just say, for example, this news was to come out the day that Nicola Sturgeon got arrested in the summer, right? Nobody would have heard about it because it was about Nicola Sturgeon. So the only thing I can think of is they're desperate, obviously, or is there something else coming out Monday that's going to fill the papers on Tuesday? Yeah, because normally something that happens on a Monday night will be in the paper on Tuesday, but if something's going to happen to Monday, which will be today by the time you're watching this, then that would make sense to me as well. But there's only one of the two things. Is there something crazy going to happen on Monday that this thing would get no coverage whatsoever, or they are just desperate, absolutely desperate, to get this sort of nonsense out. But mark my words, that's all you'll hear from for about 2 years. Independence, but we'll be £10,000 per household better off. No, you'll know. Because I tell you, the way these people govern anyway, they want seats forever, right? So they would just give us more freebies. No, nothing's free. I've spoken 100 times about the prescriptions. Everybody that couldn't afford prescriptions in my whole life has always had them free anyway. They ticked a box at the back to say they were on benefits or something, and you got your prescription free. All they done was give everybody it free. So people that could afford it now are costing the government money, and we need to put up taxes and all these things, and the health service is in tatters, and a lot of it, I'm trying to think the figure. I'll get the figures before I do another video, to be honest with you, but I think the figures are something like £100 million it costs for these free prescriptions. Now, I'm sure the figure was £111 million. Now, in the old system, you wouldn't have saved £111 million because, like, some people were getting them free anyway, people that needed them. So you wouldn't save all of that. So, let's just say half of them. Let's say 3/4, something between 50 and 75% of the people of the costs could probably be saved on that. It's just a pure cost, because that's what they do. They just give stuff free, but somebody pays for it, and it's a country. The other famous one that I've spoke about before was the free bikes. The uptake of free bikes was deplorable, and because of all the costs of setting up this scheme, by the time you divided it by the amount of bikes that were actually given out, the cost per kid's bike was over £1,000. I think the figure I worked it out to was 1,050. That's how these crackpots govern. So let's just say, for example, they were right. Let's just, with the maddest intentions in the world, let's just say, in this fantasy world, they got independence and there was £27 billion extra into the government somewhere. They would find another way of blowing it, because they would want to be buying their votes for the next term and the next term and the next 4 years, because they're just on a gravy. Now, most politicians are like that, I'll be honest with you. I would say 50% of normal politicians are like that. But see, the SNP, I reckon it's got to be about 80-90%. It's a gravy train for them. They are absolutely devoid of conscience, if I'm perfectly honest with you. They just beggar belief. They are an absolute joke of a party. But there we go, HUMZA. Sunday papers today for a speech he's making on Monday night. We're all going to be £10,000 better off per household. I beg your pardon, not per person, per household. £27 billion the country's going to find up a unicorn's arse, because that's the only way they would get it. So anyway, rant over. But the most important thing of all, if you like the videos, give me a thumbs up. That's not the most important thing, to be fair. Give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe and notification you want to see more. But the genuine most important thing to me, to you guys, is have a great day. Bye now.